So I finally got my hands on the Arcade1up Star Wars cabinet. And man, this thing looks gorgeous. In my opinion, this is definitely the best looking product Arcade1up has put out to date. It's also the first one built with a unique side profile. The side panels are shaped to mimic the original arcade machine. This is something I hope they'll do more of in the future. We know from the released photos that the Burger Time cabinet will have unique side panels, so maybe this will become a standard going forward, but it really looks good. Of course, this is a Gen 3 or Wave 3 Arcade1up, so it has the upgraded monitor. The MDF panels themselves feel more solid than Gen 1 and 2, and it has the downward firing stereo sound under the marquee. Some other special features on this cabinet. Lit marquee. I've said this before, I don't think I'm going to buy another Arcade1up product ever without a lit marquee. They look good, feels more like a true arcade product. Yeah, I know it's a small detail, but it's just something that for me, if I don't have a lit marquee, it looks or feels a little bit more like a toy than an arcade replica. It just seems like something that ought to be there. But it's here for the Star Wars, and it looks really good, like I said. There's a custom designed Star Wars yoke, and for the first time available for the mass market, you can really replicate the original Star Wars cabinet feel. It is made of plastic, and I'm sure the gears are plastic, which means over time they may break or break down. But this looks incredible, and it feels really good too. It feels great. You don't think of it. I mean, yeah, the handles are plastic and the buttons, but the motion that you get from the movement feels good, and it feels really premium. It's also very responsive. I have no issues with the yoke at all, and honestly, for a $400 product, which is how much you can get this at Walmart right now, started out at $500, but for a $400 or $500 product, I'm impressed that they were able to produce something like this that it seems of such high quality. Everything on this cabinet is controlled with the yoke and its 4 buttons. There are no additional buttons aside from the on and off or volume. There's no start or 1-up or coin button or anything like that. This cabinet has blue accent tape. It also has T-molding, black T-molding on the underside of the control panel. So that's definitely a trend with Arcade1up. They're putting T-molding where they can. Apparently you can't install T-molding on MDF board. You can't, I guess, put the channel down the middle where you can lay T-molding on top of it. Or if you can, it's cost prohibitive, but my understanding is it's just you can't do it at all because there isn't enough structural integrity to the MDF board. But one way or another, they've never put T-molding on the boards that the cabinets are made of, but they are putting them on the control panels for the more premium cabinets, which I welcome. It's a nice touch. It comes with a riser with Star Wars graphics. Looks really good. I've seen some people on the forums take this riser and actually reverse it because they like the back view better. I don't agree with that. I think it looks good as designed. But either way, the riser looks great, and it's slightly taller. It's 13 inches tall versus 12 than what you would get with the normal Arcade1up riser. And they did that so that the yoke is at a good level. You can tell the structure of the cabinet. The control panel is tilted, and it connects at a lower point on the cabinet itself at the bottom. So it would make the yoke shorter, and they wanted to get you to that 30-inch height that people are accustomed to for arcade. So again, really good attention to detail. I don't always think Arcade1up gets the credit they deserve for thinking through a lot of these design challenges. It's always cheaper to build something the same way you've always built it. So when they make these one-off changes for individual cabinets, that's pretty cool. There is a game setting menu for each of the 3 games, and each menu saves its settings for that game, so you can customize what you want for each game. And the most important setting, in my opinion, other than maybe difficulty, is the vector graphics. You can create bolder lines, you can add a sparkle effect, you can create brighter lines or go with the standard. And honestly, whichever you pick, the vector lines look night and day better than my Gen 1 Asteroids Arcade1up, which was also a vector monitor back in the day. It really doesn't look very good in that old LCD panel. Now, for the bad side of things, I haven't had a chance to really play through these games. And the reason why, one of my buttons doesn't work, and when I took apart the control panel, I found out why. When this was put together at the factory, somebody forced the pin connector onto the pin on the control panel board, breaking the pins. So unless I want to try to solder this and put it back together, which honestly, I don't really want to mess with. This is a product I bought brand new at a reasonably high cost. I don't feel like I should have to be breaking out the solder gun just to get this to work. And also, I'm not great with soldering, so there's a chance I would mess something up and, destroy the whole board, which I may have done once before. So it's just not really a road I want to go down. And I still haven't had resolution from Arcade1up's customer support. It's been 3 days. We've emailed back and forth. What they've not done is commit to send me a replacement, at least board, if not the entire control panel with the yoke. So that's very frustrating. I like this product a lot so far, but I really can't play the games and progress with missing one of the buttons. So I'm going to set that aside for now. I've got another cabinet, another Star Wars cabinet coming. I'm just going to swap the control panel altogether and return it. And you hate to do that, but when Arcade1up isn't responsive, I've got one ticket open with them for a different cabinet. It's been open for 3 weeks that they haven't resolved. So when it gets to that point, I'm going to have to return some stuff, and I'm sure a lot of other people have done the same thing. It's not good for their retail metrics at all. So if they're smart and listening to these YouTube videos, they're going to fix their customer support and make sure people are getting their parts replaced when they're still in warranty. But once that's in, I will play these games in depth, walk you through what I think of the entire cabinet, and give it an overall review. My impressions as of today, this is one of the better quality products Arcade1up has made. And they now really, in my mind, they have a split product line at this point. There's the higher quality stuff like the Star Wars, like the Marvel Limited Edition, like the Black Series cocktail cabinet. And then there's really everything else. With generic controls that are of lower quality, without the light up marquee, without the attention to detail visually that you get with a customizer, things like that. But even with the higher quality products, the quality control issues are as bad as ever if my examples are at all representative. Now, as I mentioned, the side panels were perfect, but the yoke just isn't working out of the box. I think that's absurd. If these guys are going to continue to go, and people have been saying this for years, for the year or 2 years they've been around, but it's true. If Arcade1up is going to continue to deliver product to retail, if they're going to continue increasingly to compete, they need more responsive customer service, and really they just need better quality control. Whoever forced that connector onto the board knew it was wrong because they pushed really hard and bent the pins off and just didn't care and packaged the whole product up. So they really need to get their contractors in line. That's it for today, guys. I'll be back as soon as I can when I get that replacement part with a full review. If you have any questions you want to make sure I cover in the review, drop them in the comments. Hit like. If you want to hear more from us, make sure you subscribe, including enabling notifications so that you're up to date when we have new videos out, which we do a couple times a week. Catch you next time.